Hi everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. This is the horror podcast and YouTube discussion show in which we discuss horror films on a weekly basis, sometimes new, sometimes old. We've done some new releases recently, so this week we're going to talk about a really obscure film from 1976 called God Told Me To. It's directed by Larry Cohen, who went on to direct other things like Q the Winged Serpent and some other cult favourites. But today we've got some of our usuals. We've got Tim here.
Hello. Thank you.
We've got Joseph. Joseph's back. He wasn't here for Sinister 2, but Joseph has returned.
Yeah, blame voodoo magic in New Orleans.
Okay, New Orleans, voodoo magic. Shame on you. And unfortunately, Kevin, our number one M. Night Shyamalan fan, couldn't be here this week. His internet is getting switched over and he does not have it in the house at the moment. So Connor, our regular reserve, who's now done like 3 episodes in a row because people keep missing episodes.
And so it came to be.
Yeah, it's funny actually because you've actually subbed for like 3 people, like 3
I've
different
subbed
people.
for everyone except you.
Yeah, because Tim was off a week, then Joseph was off a week, and now Kevin's
Do you
off
want a
week.
vacation, Peter? You want a vacation?
I want a week off. Maybe when the visit comes out, I'll take a week off.
I'm not paying to see that.
Give Kevin the hosting duties.
I'll take a week off. Yeah, so welcome to Screams After Midnight here in the Mailed Fuzz Network. So we're going to talk about God Told Me To, and this is a bizarre film which I seen must be about 5 years ago now. I was turned on to it, but you're laughing because I said turned on.
Oh yeah.
There's different context. Different context. So yeah, God Told Me To is a very... I think we're going to have to tackle this one chronologically because there's so many turns in the plot that it's hard to sort of sum it all up in one concise sentence. So we're just going to get straight into it, and as always guys, this is full spoilers for the film at hand. But the film starts with a shooter, a sniper in fact, basically shooting random people on the streets of New York. And several people die, and the cops show up, and the detective who's sort of in charge there climbs up to the sniper to speak to him, and he asks, he's sort of like he's talking to him like slowly and calmly so that they won't shoot him, and he asks him why is he doing this, and he simply responds with God told me to, and then commits suicide.
Well, he says it a little more chipper than that. Like, he kind of says it like God told me to.
Yeah, he's in a cheery mood. He's in a cheery mood. And from there, other like crimes of a similar nature, in that someone like starts killing people, not from a sniper. Sometimes it's stabbings, sometimes it's
St. Patrick's Day Parade.
St. Patrick's Day Parade, starring Andy Kaufman, but we'll get to that. Yeah, and that's kind of where the movie starts. And I kind of want to talk about this first like 20-30 minutes of the movie on its own before we get to the rest. Because I actually like the plot a lot at the start of this movie. Like, I think it's actually quite an interesting premise that all these weird, like, really like violent crimes start breaking out, and like there's no motives other than, oh, suddenly I feel like God wanted me to do this. Like, I think it's quite an interesting premise.
Makes it a nice procedural.
There's certainly a lot of directions you could go with it.
There's a lot of directions you go, but I bet you had, if I asked you in the first like half hour of this movie to guess the direction they were going in, you would never have gotten the direction they went in.
Never, ever. Not. You know that whole thing where there's if you give a million monkeys a million typewriters and enough time, they will write the complete works of Shakespeare. They would never write this movie.
Wait, did Shakespeare write this?
Oh dear. Yeah, actually, interesting. This was a very low budget movie, but it was shot very guerrilla style, and you can actually see it several times in the movie when they're shooting in the streets. You can see people in the background noticing the camera and pointing at it. I don't know if you all picked up on that.
I did. I noticed one part when I was looking at some trivia, there was a scene where he didn't have a permit to film. He just went ahead and did it anyways.
Yeah.
So they didn't even block off the city.
I didn't notice like people pointing, but the people like that were like watching like the bodies fly back and stuff, they didn't you could tell like it didn't look like actors that knew what was going on.
Yeah, nah, there's
It's kinda
actually
like, what the
there's a
hell?
great the best moment of that is like 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, something like that, and there's a guy who sort of walks out of frame and then walks back on frame because he's just realised that he's noticed the camera, and he like signals to his friend, and his friend comes over and he starts pointing.
I didn't notice that. I gotta go
at
back
the
and check that out.
Yeah, it's well worth checking that out just for the sort of the flub, as it were. But I'm gonna possibly surprise you guys. I actually really like this movie. I really like this movie. I think this movie is great. Potentially. Joseph was shocked by that statement.
I've never seen a more quizzical face.
I don't understand this movie.
Do you know what I like about it? I like how it just goes down this rabbit hole and it just keeps going. Like
It fully commits.
Because, like, so to describe the rest of the plot for the people watching, if they're just not bothering with the movie and they just want to watch our opinions on it, so the detective starts investigating it, and all these different people who've committed these crimes say God told me to, and he finds out that one of them spoke to another person, and he connects this mystery person to speaking to all of the people who ended up committing these crimes, and he's described as someone who has long hair, walks around in bare feet or in sandals or something like that. He goes to the the doctor who, was at the birth of this person. And he's like, yeah, we couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl. It was some sort of weird, mysterious thing.
And it was a virgin birth.
And it was a virgin
Still in
birth.
development.
Yeah.
And it was
virgin birth.
described as a hippie quite a lot.
And at this point in the movie, you can sort of see, okay, they're implying that this is Jesus, that this is a second coming of Jesus in some way, that for some reason is telling people to kill themselves, or kill lots of people and then kill themselves.
Others and then kill themselves.
Because everyone's really happy about what they've just done, bizarrely. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this is an interesting plot development to go down. And then it starts to get really bizarre when he finds the mother, or the person who met the mother of him, and
Found her on the side of the road.
yeah, we
one
get
night.
the flashback to where she seems to have been abducted by aliens and then impregnated by them,
By a glowing light.
and then put back on Earth. So, what were your guys' heads at this point in the movie? We're about halfway through, and we start to hint the fact that God might in fact actually just be an alien race who decide to fuck with us every once in a while.
I was kind of like, what's going on here? But at the same time, I was really invested and interested in what on earth was actually happening.
Exactly. You're always intrigued during this movie. You're never like bored or uninterested.
Oh.
You're always curious as to where it's going. That's something.
God was speaking to me. He would tell me just to close my computer and walk away.
Tim,
I don't,
if there's anyone here who might have liked this as well as me, it's Tim Vergilish. Come on,
That or
Tim.
I'll hate it.
I did like it. I wouldn't say that I loved it. But I think a little bit of an asterisk. I did watch the free version that was on YouTube, which was not.
I think
Yeah.
everyone except for me did that because I've got the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I couldn't help but think that kind of affected my enjoyment a little bit, because there were times when it, obviously didn't look that great, and the sound quality wasn't that great either. There were some times where I think I might have missed some stuff here and there. So I did like it. I feel though like if I watched a better version, like if I had gotten like the Blu-ray or something, that my enjoyment would be spiked a little bit.
I will say this though. This was the first time I'd watched the Blu-ray when I watched it for this episode, and I seen the free version originally, right? So I seen that, right, and it looks like shit. You all know it looks like shit.
Yeah.
The Blu-ray looks amazing. Like, After having seen that free version, the Blu-ray is like, it looks, because it's from 1976. It looks just like Jaws does on Blu-ray. Like,
That's good.
It doesn't look like shit at all. It looks like a proper, high quality movie. It's insane. What
There
a
was
bit of remastering can do.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that I like in this. Like, I like cults. I like aliens. I like just really weird, fucked up shit.
Yeah, well, wait, I don't know if it's
check.
I don't know if it's when it's the first flashback or it's when the main character goes to see the woman who turns out to be his mother, and we'll get to that sort of plot. But in one of those like bits where they're up in like the spaceship, I guess is what we'll call it, we get close-ups of some kind of a vagina.
That's what it was.
That's what it
The
was.
quality was bad, so I didn't know. I thought that's what it was, but wasn't sure.
Trust me, it was a vagina.
Trust me, on the
Have you seen
Blu-ray.
the golden glowing ones in your past, so they speak from experience?
Yeah.
I've seen. I won't go in there. But,
Tim is that
that one
alien.
either.
Yeah. So then, from this point on, we start to. Also, by the way, the other thing that sort of relates to the actual like story of Jesus in a way is that he's kind of got disciples, like these 12 businessmen who sit in a boardroom and like just, I don't know, talk about evil things. I don't know. So it's never really made clear what they're actually doing for the most part. But it becomes about the main character realizing he's actually the brother of this Jesus type figure.
Because why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not?
It's a whole movie. Why not?
And he goes to investigate, and he actually goes to see this Jesus type character who's glowing exponentially, so we can't see him properly, and
Hermaphrodite.
he lifts up his gown, as it were, to reveal in his
He's
stomach a vagina. In his stomach.
Why not?
And yeah, that's kind of the what happens in this movie.
I wonder if
mean,
there was any inspiration for Videodrome for that scene.
I wonder. Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. But and then the movie just kind of goes on, and the lead character decides he doesn't want to be part of this evil plan because obviously, evil Jesus, or whatever you want to call him, basically says that like there's more of him, and the main character's was a mistake, and like he was meant to be like them but he wasn't, so that's why they tried again. And the movie basically ends with the lead character burning evil Jesus in the building and then being arrested for being a killer, and the final moment of the film is the press asks him why did he do it, and he sort of smirks and goes, God told me to.
And then looks into the camera really dementedly.
Yep, that does happen. But you know what? I mean, the plot is absolutely batshit insane, right? I'm not going to say it isn't. Because it is.
Anyone who tries to defend this as any semblance of normality needs to be in a mental institute.
No, the plot is batshit insane, but that's part of why I like it. I like that it goes down this rabbit hole of absolute insanity, and it just keeps going, and I kind of love that about it. But what I think is actually really good about the movie is that it's really well directed. It actually, Larry Cohen, who directed this, actually builds a lot of interest, and he slowly teases out the information. And all the scenes are actually all really well shot for the most part. No, I mean, Joseph's squinting at me. You didn't think this was well shot or directed?
No, I guess. No, well, I have nothing to complain in that area. I'm just this whole movie. God was speaking to me the whole way through, saying, "Why? Just leave. You don't have to do this anymore. Don't torture yourself. Don't listen to Peter."
No. You listen to me.
Did you have God on one corner of your shoulder and then a devil Peter on the other going, watch it, keep watching it?
Oh no, I do. I did like it. So Tim, what did you like about it then, since you are a bit more positive on it?
Well, like we said in the beginning, there is before you even know about all the weirdness that's gonna come, it is kind of an interesting story. You know, of like this kind of breakout of killings going on, and I mean, I kind of hate to bring it up, but it also kind of seemed like weirdly relevant to like the amount of like kind of brutal killings and stuff we have like nowadays.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like kind of weirdly and timely. But I thought that was really, that in itself was an interesting premise, and like I think we had talked about it last week where we were I was trying to argue the fact when if you're given the chance to go supernatural, always go supernatural. So I love that they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking really make this crazy, and I really liked it, and I liked the like I really love in movies when you can see like the director's like ambition really bursting through, like whether or not you enjoyed it or thought it was well done, you gotta admit it was fucking ambitious. Like this dude is, you know, trying to tackle like fucking weird space Jesus like shit, which you know is crazy, but I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, I agree. I think it's just like a complete total cult movie from the 70s. It's got that 70s sort of grittiness to it, but it's about a, you know, evil space Jesus. Like, it's great. Like, I mean, I don't love it. I mean, I don't think it's like some sort of hidden masterpiece or anything like that, but I think it's really well made for what it is. I think the director takes his subject seriously, and that gives it like a really interesting sort of spiraling thriller tone to it.
As serious as everybody on the Ancient Aliens TV show.
And I really like his shooting style, and I think everything has a really sort of visceral energy to it almost.
I really like 70s New York. Like I like when New York used to be like kind of a scary, dangerous place. Like you see it now, it's just like giant neon billboards and like tweens walking around. But you know, there's a time in like Taxi Driver and The Warriors and stuff where like New York was just one giant like gang of people and stuff like.
Although we should point out, Tim, that The Warriors was set in like a future, wasn't it, or like an alternate timeline? Yeah, it wasn't meant to just be present day New York, was it?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time since I saw it.
Maybe I'm just assuming that based on how over the top it was in terms of like
maybe
the gangs, but
but I mean, either way though, like I like anything that's like a throwback to that kind of like crazy, scary, gang-ridden New York.
Yeah, I like that style of movie as well. It's pretty cool. All right, let's tackle the other two guys here then and see. Connor, what was your overall feelings then? Beyond the weirdness, like, was there anything you liked about it?
No, I liked it. A lot of it was down to the weirdness of why I liked it, though, because to go back to how Tim referenced last bit about Sinister, like it made its turn, but it didn't commit. Like this, every time it made a turn and got weirder, it completely committed to it, and it never let up on that. And it was always interesting, even if it was completely insane and you were going, what is happening? You always wanted to know what is actually happening and wanted the answers rather than just bewilderment. And that is a lot of why I liked it, because even right up to the end, it was like I was interested all the way through, which is better than some of the stuff that we watch.
It's better than a lot of the stuff that we watch, to be honest. I mean, I mean, I think I'm glad to hear you're quite positive on it as well.
Again, I do agree that if I'd watched the higher quality version, I think I would have enjoyed it a bit more as well, because there were times where I was just trying to refocus my eyes to this horrific level of quality that we used to watch.
I think what I'd recommend, particularly for you two who were a bit more positive on it, is to maybe in a few years actually watch the better quality version. And just,
I think I will.
It's because that was my first time watching the Blu-ray yesterday, and I actually enjoyed it way more the second time than I did the first time, and I liked it the first time, but I was able to appreciate the filmmaking a lot more, especially since it's in its like proper widescreen aspect ratio, because the free version on YouTube was pan and scan or whatever. So, okay, Joseph, since you're the the negative one here, you didn't enjoy it? No, then.
Nah, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I do agree with a lot of the points, especially the ambitious. I mean, any director who is able to make a movie with golden, glowing space alien Jesus with a vagina in his stomach, you gotta give him some props. You gotta recognize that to get a studio to release that kind of movie,
To even have that idea in your head.
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. No one's in your market. You've got your niche. But to say I enjoyed it, that's a whole different discussion. No. I forced myself for the sake of this show, but after it started taking its turns, I'm thinking I should just close my laptop and go do something more meaningful with my life.
Very well.
I have a question for Joseph. Like, as obviously you're probably the most religious of us here, did that have any impact on how you were watching this evil space Jesus?
No, I don't get offended by stuff like that, and I can say that, hey, it's an artist doing their art, making their art. So
I think oddly, given you being religious and me being not religious, I think it's interesting that we both kind of have the same opinion when it comes to this in movies. Is I have no problem when religion is displayed as religion in movies, and you have no problem when religion is displayed as bullshit in movies. Like,
no, it's how they interpret it, and I can see in plenty of areas some of my favorite movies where faith is discussed and it's not necessarily certain. It's more the director searching for it. That doesn't apply to this film, but I mean, it never bothers me.
Yeah,
never.
That's cool though. You're able to separate like art from
Some people
like what you believe. Yeah, because
Don't do
that's
that.
definitely
because I could see this offending a number of people. I mean,
I'm sure a few people who I go to church with every Sunday would be, but
gynecologists.
I want. I know a few. I might want to recommend this movie. I just want to know.
I love the idea. Tim's put this in my head. I've got this picture in my head of like a gynecologist sitting watching this and just like hitting his chair like, no, it's not there. It's not in the stomach.
I can see gynecologists having problems with the film Teeth as well.
Yeah.
Dentist too for that one.
Yeah, dentist and gynecologist.
Double whammy.
If there's like a dentist gynecologist married couple that they just watch that movie and just like
They just look at each other and go, I never thought our two professions would mix. That's one we'll probably do one day though, so let's not get into teeth too much.
Joy.
You know what? I'm pleasantly surprised that two of you seem to quite have enjoyed it. So I'm happy about that because
I'll say one thing. I never would have watched it if it wasn't for this, but now I'm kind of glad that I did.
It's an interesting movie to have seen when you know that no one else will, like, and a group of people have seen, so you get to bring this up and explain to them.
I saw it was on iCheck Movies. It was on the top 500 horror movie list, yet it somehow wasn't on the certified weird list. I will go. I've never seen anything from this director before, so that Q, the Winged Serpent, I guess I will put on my to-watch list just to see how crazy it is.
I think you should, because it's got a very similar shooting style in that it is very, he's in New York, doing like shooting where he's not meant to be and quickly just getting in and getting these shots and shit like that. But I actually really enjoy Q, the Winged Serpent. That's another one I've got on Blu-ray.
I've wanted to watch that for a while, actually.
I like it, it's good. You don't see a whole lot of the monster, so don't go in expecting like tons of monster. It's more like people keep like dying and disappearing from the top of like tall buildings, and like the cops are investigating it, and it like turns out to be a monster. But it's worth watching. It's good. But
I'm just looking through some of his stuff right now. Man, this guy's done a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, the Stuff's another one of his. I didn't like that as much as these two that we've mentioned, but
It's
yeah,
alive.
there's that. Actually, I seen that I want to bring up that always makes me laugh whenever I think about it. Is once the main characters realise that he's part of this alien race, and AKA like the son of God, he goes into like that bar that's like the Black Gang who like killed the other cop, and the leader of the gang tries to stab him, but he can't because the power of I guess the aliens, but for our sake the power of God is stopping him, so he keeps missing it. Just like his hands going past his head. Like that scene cracks me up every time because I think it works because it cuts to the character's eyes, like the main character, and you sort of get that there's power now, but like it's just really funny watching the guy like try to stab him and he's just like ugh, and he just keeps missing.
I think this would be a good if they ever were to bring back Mystery Science Theater 3000 or Elvira.
Oh.
It would work on either of those shows. I didn't mind the quality being bad just because I took it as a B movie quality movie, and I think I kind of wanted to see this the video quality I had on a TV screen late Saturday night.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's God Told Me To, an interesting little trip down insanity.
Can we bring up my my favorite line in it?
Oh,
Sure.
please.
I'm probably going to misquote it, but I love when he's talking like to the police chief or whatever, and he like gets that call that there's someone in the St. Patrick's Day parade that's gonna like kill someone. And he tries to get his boss to shut it down, and like his boss said something
I know
like,
what you're gonna say.
I said,
again, I forget exactly how it goes, but he's like, "You won't say anything. The Irish have waited for this day long enough," or something like that.
it's like they've been waiting for this all year.
Oh, yeah.
It's in March.
Yeah, that was a very odd
That
moment.
cracked me up.
Yeah. It's check out God Told Me To. It's a very interesting film, if nothing else. It's very wacky, and give it a shot.
One bit of trivia that I saw on IMDb, I think I forgot to say. You know who he originally had it in mind to score the film?
Hans Zimmerman.
A bit early for that.
Bernard Herrmann.
I was going to guess that just because.
He did Psycho.
Yeah.
But he gave him the version of the movie without any score, and Bernard Herrmann died the night after seeing it.
Oh shit.
Drawing conclusions that you may, if you wish.
Well, to be fair, the dude was probably quite old.
Just blame this anyway.
Just blame this. Alright, so let's get to some ratings then for God Told Me To. This should be very interesting. We're going to start with Joseph, I think, because I think he's going to be the lowest end of the spectrum here, and we'll see him react to everyone else's ratings. Joseph, how many space vaginas out of 10 would you give this?
Alright, so like I said, it's not a bad film. It's just not a film I can enjoy. So, to be fair, I will give it 5 golden glowing space vaginas out of 10. And my wife is looking at me. She just came in the room.
Did she not watch this one with you?
She was at work today as I watched it.
Okay, you'll have to explain to her later.
Yes, if you want to see that movie, you'll have to watch it on your own.
Okay, Connor, how many space vaginas?
I will give it 7.
7 space vaginas.
7.
Good, cool. Tim?
I was actually thinking the same. I'm kind of flip flopping between like 6 and 7. Like for me, I really like the plot and the ideas in it, which to me would be like a solid like 7.5. But just the quality that I watched it on again brought it down for me. But again, though, I think that really could be solved by watching the better quality on the Blu-ray. So I'll go with my gun. Just give it a definitive 7.
Alright, cool. And yeah, by all means check out the Blu-ray. It's actually astonishing how much better it looks. I am actually going to go one step higher. I'm going to go 8 space vaginas out of 10. I think this is a quality movie. It's got the ambition, it's got the bizarreness, it's got endless replay value, honestly.
I don't think you can ever get bored watching that.
Do you know why though? Because every time you watch it, you make sure you're showing it to someone who's not seen it, because the facial reactions of the person sitting next to you makes every viewing worth it. I promise you that.
It's gonna be gold.
Because I think this is the third time I've seen it. Quality.
I look forward to the eventual remake with Adam Sandler and Kevin James.
Alright, so that'll bring an end to our discussion on God Told Me To. It is a quality, bizarre cult movie from the 70s. Well worth checking out if you're into that kind of era of cinema and cult stuff. But before we finish up today, I actually do want to quickly mention the passing of Wes Craven, which happened a couple of days ago. And I'm sure it kind of upset all of us because he's a pretty big deal. And in honour of that, next week we will be doing a Wes Craven movie. I will not announce it here right now, which one we're doing, but next week we will have a Wes Craven movie on the show. So, as of course, rest in peace to Wes Craven. It's a shame. I mean, 76. I mean, it's not a bad age to get to, but it's still a bit younger than what you'd like to get to. So, he made his fair amount of turds, but he did give us some of the biggest staples of the genre.
Swamp Thing.
No, that'd be one of the turds I mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a sad day on Elm Street.
Yeah.
So. Alright, so that'll wrap us up. Sorry to send everyone away depressed, but we'll be back next week with a Wes Craven movie to talk about. And then the week after that, it's the movie that Kevin has been waiting for months.
The return has come.
The one I
Swamp
refuse
Thing.
to sit in on.
And if there's one man alive who I believe is the second coming of Space Jesus with a vagina in his stomach, it's M. Night Shyamalan. So
That'd be a twist.
He's building towards it. It's going to be his last movie. That remake you just mentioned, Tim, that's going to be his last film.
And he plays the spaceship, and he just comes out and takes off his shirt and
he plays the spaceship. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching. This has been Screams After Midnight, the horror podcast here in the Mailed Fuzz Podcast Network. You can follow us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz. You can follow you can email us at mailedfuzz@gmail.com. You can also get this show on YouTube, on iTunes and on Stitcher, so whatever place you've got the show from, please do subscribe and like and 5 stars and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. But if you want to find the rest of us individually elsewhere, Connor, where can people find you?
You can find me hosting the 1080-bit gaming podcast here on the Mild Fuzz Network, and other than that, you can find me on Twitter at ConnorRyan94.
Alright, cool. Joseph, where can people find you?
I can be found at jkohler_93 on Letterboxd and Twitter. I can also be found in the Mild Fuzz Facebook group, usually just aggravating Peter.
Yeah, pretty much.
The fountain sucks.
To hell with you!
The Falcon?
The
The fountain.
Oh, The Fountain.
Do you like that movie, Tim?
No.
Damn it!
Sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry, are you agreeing with Tim, Joseph, the guy who gave a lower score to The Haunting?
I will forget about that from right now. I'm ready.
Tim, where can people find you?
Any social media thing at Tim Vargulish. Other podcasts here on the Mild Fuzz Network, including Hellraisers, the Hellblazer podcast. And
You said that wrong. You always go up in the second. You say Hellraisers, the Hellblazer podcast. You went up in the first part.
yeah, well, we're mixing it up, man. We that's why you should listen, because we give everyone we give someone new a fresh point to start at every time.
Say that again a little faster.
What was that sentence?
It's okay. All the regular MFers will know what Tim's like.
That sentence made less sense than this movie.
Which is impressive. It's impressive. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Letterboxd, and Instagram, all at Wibble89. You can also find me on other shows here on the Mailed Fuzz Network, such as the 1080-bit Video Games Podcast, the TV podcast Almost Cancelled, the Movies Podcast 1.21 Gigawatts, and the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast, Slayer Revisited, in which me and Alden are rewatching Buffy and Angel and reviewing every episode on a weekly basis. Check that out if you're a Buffy fan.
Do you sleep?
Sorry?
Do you sleep?
Occasionally. Occasionally. Once or twice a week.
You're recording.
Once or twice a week. It's especially bad now because the 1080-bit podcast has now got a 1080-bit plays channel which we stream games. So we've been doing a lot of that. All of Mad Max, which we've been playing this week, and All Until Dawn, which some of the other guys played last week, have all been going up on YouTube. So you can check that out. I wasn't planning on plugging that, but Joseph just set me up for it, so I'll hit it out the park.
You're welcome.
But yeah, guys, that's us. If you made it through all those plugs, the gauntlet of plugs, as I like to call it, you're a true MFer, and we will see you next week. So keep watching scary movies, and goodbye for now. Why did we watch this movie? Because God told us to.
He told me to walk away. So what scores did everybody give though, Sinister 2? I never got to see that video. I'll watch it tonight.
I gave it a 2. Connor gave it a 2.5. Kevin gave it a 2.5.
I know what you gave it to him.
And then Tim gave it a 6.5.
It's good.
I already know what you gave it. I gave it a 2. Yeah.
Yeah. See if you listened to the episode last week. Like we were all giving our scores, and it was after we did it. You can sort of see my face, and I'm like, wait a minute, Tim, didn't you give The Haunting like half a point less than that?
I think The Haunting is technically a better movie, but on an enjoyment scale,
Maybe
it's
Mad
had
Max
such a
isn't
fun
cute.
time with Sinister.
Oh dear.
How?